Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. I have some breaking news for you. Please understand that I may have to omit certain words or phrases as I outline this controversy that's going on between these ActBlue activists and others, associated, of course, and perhaps encouraged by Democrats, but I cannot make the claim that the Democrats in and of themselves are contributing to this outside of the fact that their language and their rhetoric, and of course their continuing pandering to their base because they're angry that Donald Trump won the election. They believe that he's a third-party entity that has infiltrated the executive branch to undermine their will. They are no longer in power. And now, of course, they're directing their towards Elon Musk. So it was kind of challenging to find some of this as it was breaking because mainstream media just wasn't covering it. I was, well, not particularly surprised, but I was able to find one of them. But let's go ahead and get into it, and we'll just go along and just be aware that I may have to omit certain things, not show certain videos and images, which I did not include in this video because of the violence of it all. So, India today, this is crazy. Elon Musk reacts as 4 Tesla Cybertrucks go up in flames. 4 Tesla Cybertrucks were set ablaze in Seattle, prompting Elon Musk to react, calling it crazy. Authorities are investigating while speculation rises about a political motivated attack. Now, I know if you guys follow Tim Pool, he and others have been talking about a potential civil war for quite some time. And of course, as they always say, it starts out suddenly and then instantly, or suddenly and then quickly. And so this is just the fine lines of the battle that has been continuing. Tesla CEO Elon Musk expressed his shock after witnessing 4 Tesla Cybertrucks engulfed in flames in Seattle on Sunday night. The tech billionaire replied to a post on social media platform X, which shared footage of firefighters extinguishing the burning Tesla Cybertrucks. He wrote, "This is crazy." Now, it's amazing that I had to find, like, the first news I could find on this was from India Today. I did find it finally from CNN Business. It says here, police across the United States are investigating a series of attacks on Tesla showrooms, charging stations, and Tesla vehicles as vitriol escalates against CEO Elon Musk. How is this acceptable? You know, we just spent the last 4 years going back to George Floyd and the incidents that happened then, where prosecutors weren't even going after these people. And make sure you see the video I released today from the Boston Mayor, Michelle Wu, who said she was not going to prosecute a number of different things. It's absolutely extraordinary. You have to remember, the establishment empowered these people. They hijacked our culture, they hijacked our institution, and they hijacked our justice system. From CNN New York, police across the United States are investigating a series of attacks on Tesla showrooms, charging stations, and Tesla vehicles as vitriol escalates against CEO Elon Musk. I just realized I just read that to you guys. There have also been peaceful protests at many Tesla locations, which involve demonstrations carrying signs and chanting "Elon Musk has to go" in response to the slashing of federal jobs and budgets by Musk Department of Government Efficiency. Isn't this extraordinary, but not surprising, that they would come in here and then try to, like the mostly peaceful protesting, they try to tamp it down, right? As though, well, there's some people that are peacefully protesting, but if this, anything relating to Donald Trump and what they did with his lawfare and any, gutter type tabloids that were going after Trump, they never gave him the benefit of the doubt. Never, ever gave him the benefit of the doubt in any of these situations. Absolutely extraordinary. I'm trying to get the video here to play.
Some Tesla owners say they're being targeted as the public turns on company CEO and government hatchet man Elon Musk.
I'm getting like Nazi salutes from Subarus and stuff. I had guys going like this out of windows and middle fingers. It's crazy.
Stephen Minnick, who's owned his Cybertruck since last April, caught this on camera.
People came up and used their finger and drew male phalluses all over and some rather pornographic words, I guess. I actually had to look up a couple because I didn't know what they meant.
Some owners who no longer want to be associated with Musk are selling their Teslas.
It was entirely because of the way he was behaving in public and the extremism that he was portraying.
Jennifer Vargas purchased hers in August of last year. She got rid of it 6 months later.
And I love the car. I like everything about it, but it was just his name being attached to it that became the issue.
I felt liberated getting rid of it. I think many of us feel that we are voiceless, powerless.
Okay, so you see the propaganda here. You see the pandering to the base. Because right now the Democrats are just reeling. They are seething. They are angry. And if you guys haven't caught it, I'm going to show it to you again here. I don't think I have it lined up. Oh, I had it lined up in the last video with Michelle Wu from Boston. And that was Jasmine Crockett trying to suggest that it wasn't illegal to come into the country illegally. I mean, she doesn't even realize how that's a self-defeating statement. But you see, when it came to the Democrats, when they were empowered by the establishment. And so they could get away with these things. They could get away with not enforcing law or only enforcing law towards certain groups of individual people. It was selective enforcement is what we saw even across social media. I know that because I was one of those people that was selectively targeted, maybe not to the extent of some of the larger channels, of course, but a lot of our content was, not shadow banned, but suppressed and not being seen. And we already know what happened with Instagram, where basically, Mark came out and just basically said that he just was not going to just allow any sort of recommendations or suggestions on Instagram of anything political. So Zuckerberg just completely eliminated that entirely, which essentially shut down my channel on Instagram, basically for any political commentary, that is. I'm not saying that I was shut out or suppressed or anything, but I mean, most of what I do is political commentary, and so none of that was reaching anybody. But let's go ahead and check some of this out. I think this is going to be fine to be able to show on YouTube and so forth.
Oh my gosh, a Tesla Cybertruck is on fire. All right, there's a fleet of Cybertrucks right now. Unbelievable. Seattle fire on the scene.
So you gotta get off the property.
Breaking news. I'm sorry?
Get off the property.
All right, you've got dozens of firefighters now putting out flames on the Cybertruck. Absolutely insane. Look, you still see flames right underneath the Cybertruck. As you can see, there are several other
That's batteries.
Cybertrucks
That's
parked
so
here.
scary. So as you know, batteries are explosive. I don't know if any of the batteries in the Cybertrucks have ever exploded.
Seattle
Not to be
fire
confused with what
on the
happened in
scene, trying to
Vegas.
put out the flames
That was an intentional
on a
explosion,
Cybertruck.
not the batteries.
It's unclear how this all started, but
Okay, so he's going to preamble quite a bit about it, but obviously we get the picture here that they've been obviously attacked, and this isn't anything new. You see here from Ground News, fire that damaged the Tesla Cybertrucks in Seattle under investigation, and you see some of the articles are now coming up from KOAB, and here's India Today, as I mentioned earlier. Here's KIRO7 out of Seattle. So we have a few stories here. You see some of them lean right, others, one of these stories, raw story, leans left. Scary moment, reporters threatened while covering Cybertruck fires. We just watched the video. He was asked to back up. I don't know if that's the same guy they're talking about, but come on, man, this is insane. But, of course, we saw this as well just the other day. Many of these are organized ActBlue members, so this is a coordinated effort. You guys are very familiar with coordinated efforts, as we've talked about here on the BuzWeaver channel, as we've talked about, essentially for the last 8 years, that these individuals have been working in a coordinated fashion. So it's not difficult for us to illustrate that there is a coordinated fashion, because I get many pushback from my classmates and others on the left about what is this establishment you keep talking about, right? What do you mean by this and that and the other? Well, I have given them and shown them overwhelming evidence, and here it is yet again from ActBlue. Watchman arrested for arson and shouting at Tesla stores because violence is okay if it's to stop Doge. Now, I can't show, well, there's no video here, but I did see some of the video of this, and I can't show it on YouTube. But as you can see here, he's showing the image of part of the results of what happened there. And then we covered this here on the BuzWeaver channel. I think I did it as a short. And so this is out of Boston.
Each charger charred in various shades of black. Evidence of the fire that broke out in this Littleton parking lot last night. And the fire chief says These flames were no accident.
At this point, it does appear that it was a set fire.
Around 1 a.m., firefighters were called to Constitution Ave and found 7 Tesla charging stations up in flames. They burned for nearly an hour until electricity was finally cut to the units, a challenge for firefighters.
The electricity is one of our bigger issues that we're dealing with, in making sure that not only the public but the firefighters are safe. So we kept our distance from the charged electrical equipment.
And although investigators won't say what evidence was left behind, they do say it suggests arson.
It's just...
Well, yeah. Well, that's good to see that it is. And here's ActBlue right here. Move Black Lives Forward. And here's the donation and the process and these sorts of things that are happening. This is from an old... Remember back when we were covering Kenosha with the incidents and everything that happened there with Kyle Rittenhouse and so forth? And the organizations that were being donated to, one of them was ActBlue, of course. And speaking of donations, Trump shooter once donated money to a Democratic cause, and that was him. Remember him? Of course, I can't mention some of the wording in here, but it is true that he also donated to ActBlue. So I'm just simply pointing out the associations between the donations and the individuals and the incidences that have been happening. So this is not uncommon for ActBlue. We see here. Now, this is, I have nothing to confirm the statement from Suzanne. Elizabeth Warren was caught diverting funds intended for victims for the LA fires to ActBlue. She must be arrested. Time to put an end to the corruption. Now, if I look at the image here, it says, to help support the communities around LA being devastated by wildfires, can you split a donation between the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation and the United Way or Greater Los Angeles? 100% of the donations will go directly to these organizations. Support the LA Fire. Now, I don't know what the connection is with ActBlue here, but someone made that mention there. But here we had this bombshell, you guys remember, from James O'Keefe.
FEC data shows that some senior citizens across the U.S. have been donating thousands of times per year. Some of these individuals' names and addresses are attached to over $200,000 in contributions. We went and knocked on a few of their doors to corroborate the data that we received. We're wondering if these donors are victims of what appears to be a money laundering scheme. Cindy No of Annapolis, Maryland, who in the year 2022 allegedly contributed over 1,000 times to ActBlue, totaling $18,849.77. That means Cindy would have had to donate 3 times a day, every day, for the whole year. My name's James O'Keefe, and we're doing a story on the number of people that have donated. You did donate to ActBlue, right?
Once in a while.
What about $18,850?
No, I don't think so.
You know people are using your address?
I don't think so.
And so it continues. But ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake.
FEC data shows that some
make no mistake. These individuals are out there, and this is something I mentioned to people that I know, family members and so forth, that I can probably count on one hand, even across our channel, of how many times we saw any sort of activism whatsoever. I mean, the Republican Party did very little. The GOP did very little during the time that Joe Biden was in office. I mean, we didn't see the GOP hire activist judges to try to stop Joe Biden. We never saw any protesting out in the streets by any of the organizations outside of the incidences with Patriot Prayer and other groups. But other than that, there was nothing in comparison to the amount of times that we see the activism from the left and from the Democrats who empower them and do this sort of thing. And Proud Boys is who I was trying to think of there in New York when Gavin McInnes was going to go speak with them there. And then when we had that incident there where some of them were arrested. But it's so minor, the amount of people and the amount of activity that has happened from the right, as it were. And as a conservative, I'm certainly not going to be out there doing these sorts of things because it's criminal. Some of the things that we're seeing happening are criminal. And we saw how Black Bloc and BLM and these other organizations were out in the streets for months at a time. We've covered it here on the channel. But it's extraordinary to see that this is breaking news, that this is happening, and just even with ground news. Like you would think that all the major networks would be over here reporting on this, but there just isn't. There's so little of it because, of course, these are all coordinated efforts. Now, I'm not suggesting or implying the media is coordinating them or that the Democrats are coordinating, but I would say that they definitely give these individuals a platform. And based upon what Democrats are saying across social media, as we've covered here on the BuzWeaver channel, it would seem that they have a level of influence over these individuals to an extent, right? And so it's very curious, but this is getting very dangerous. This is getting very much out of hand. But I welcome your thoughts and comments down in the comments section. For those of you on BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey, you're welcome to leave your messages, as well as those here on YouTube. I appreciate all your guys' continued support. And, of course, below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to include X, as you see up here. So give me a follow there across those platforms. And I have been doing fairly well on TikTok. Believe it or not, we'll have to see how well this video does on there. But nonetheless, I do appreciate all the support, and especially all of you guys here on YouTube for your guys' continued support. Shorts as well as community posts. You guys have been very active with all those. And YouTube is still very weird with their new hyped system, they call it now, hyped, which is creating quite a controversy among creators. But nonetheless, guys, thank you so much for your continued support. Appearing there on the screen, that would be the channel icon for all of you watching on YouTube specifically. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.